night.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of TEDXcellence, the show where we're constantly searching for the real meaning of equity. Because as we know, it's never been done right before. Until now. And I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dog Cat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome again to Thursday. Tertiary Thursday. It's a word that starts with T. There you go. I hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful Thursday evening. Let's see. Let me get all my streamer accoutrement going there. There we go. I got the chat. I got the banner or the ticker. And I've got all of you. Who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening? Walter Tomaszewski. Good evening. Can't make it tonight? Oh no, as I have a State of the City meeting to attend where I live. George and Philip might tune in though. Well, hello George and Philip. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow. Advocates Diaboli, good evening. Mike R, hello. Blue-Eyed Screen, hello. Who else is here? Adam Easy, good evening. Scrolling. I see an Adam Nixon. Good evening, Adam. Kieverdam, hello, and thank you, Kieverdam, as always, for providing the link, guys, at the top of the chat box to the Blood Cancer United charity for research into, well, blood cancer, if you can believe it. Please take a look at that if you have the opportunity. If you can donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that. And thank you, Kieverdam, as always, for providing the link. Luna Mune. Luna Mune? You tell me. I like to pronounce things as correctly as I can. Noah Sencio, good evening. Who else is here? Captain JPS, hello. Truckin' with a tablet, hello. Velvetina. I'll get that right. The Velvetina. Are you a rabbit by any chance? Do you carry scarlet fever? Of one form or another. What am I talking about? I don't know. Darth Mando. Good evening. Kiro Soldier, hello. Let's see. Alexander the Scourge or Tyrannus the Lich, depending on the day. Good evening. Let's see. Who else? Let's see. Pissed Off Shih Tzu, hello. Resolute Germ, good evening. And who's this? Stacy Gardner. Hello. Nice to see you. Let's see. I made 2 streams in a week. Oh boy. Well, hey, that's a record. My dog's name is Velvet, so I play with. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I was thinking of the Velveteen Rabbit. Obviously. But anyway, everyone, welcome to the show. Let's see. What's going on? Oh, yeah, equity. Also, before I go on, I should say. Thanks to those of you that joined me last night for my surprise stream of confessional shamefulness, or whatever you want to call that. Yeah, that was. I feel, you know, I thought about it after the fact. The title of the ambush stream came across as clickbait. I think it wasn't intentional in that wise, but it did come across that way. But I was being sincere. I felt really bad. I cherish my friends, and remembering birthdays is something I should be better at, but I completely dropped the ball, and so I felt bad, so I had to do something to acknowledge it and also try to make up for it. I spoke to Leonora last night after the show, but before I went to bed, and she was like, why'd you try to call me earlier? Because I tried to call her, but I couldn't get through. And I'm like, well, check your DMs. I gave you a video link. That'll explain everything. And she says, I can't sit here and watch an hour-long thing. I said, no, just watch the first, 5 minutes or so. You'll get the gist. She's like, okay. And so I think all is well now. I think all is well. But anyway, tonight, yes. Well, last night we did do a TEDx. So if you want to see a very short, non-bingoed TEDx, we looked at one last night about computational psychiatry. Whatever that is. But tonight, we're going to find out, well, you see, in a world where equity, diversity, and inclusion have been the mandate amongst governmental institutions and educational institutions and private corporations for the last decade or more, we're going to find out about the power of equity done right. Because I'm assuming, up to this point, it's never been done right before. Kind of like socialism, it's never been tried before in its purest form. I'm guessing. So, Stoka, what's my birthday? Please don't do this to me now. I just got past one. Don't make me do it again. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe Simon Willikins knows. He's a smart guy. Oh, man. Is that an oxymoron? What? Me remembering birthdays? Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, equity done right? I don't know. Because equity, as we all know, is the equality of outcome. The manufactured, engineered equilibrium where no matter how good or bad you are at something, everybody gets the exact same result. In order to, lift people up artificially. Now, of course, equity has come under attack a little bit from its own supporters recently with the FAIR model. We've talked about FAIR a few times now. It's fairness, accessibility, inclusion, representation. Did I get all that right? I think I got that right. Which is not so much about artificially elevating people up into positions they haven't earned necessarily, but instead bringing the standards and prerequisites so low that no one can fail them. So I'm curious to know, with that new FAIR doctrine in mind, what our speaker has to say about what it means to do equity right. We'll find out in a moment. Tonight's bingo card is bingo card B, as I chose it as an executive decision, because I didn't do a poll this morning because I was so bogged down with work. By the time I remembered about the poll, it was a little bit too late to do a poll, so I just what did we do last time? It was bingo card A. We're going to do bingo card B today. So bingo card B. Links to the bingo cards are in the description below if you need the bingo cards. Kiro Soldier, scribe, your beard is off-center. I don't know. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe it's the angle. I try to keep it fairly. I'm not perfect. What do you want? Jeez, thanks a lot. Make me self-conscious, Kiro Soldier. Jerk. Anyway, let's get on with this torture session. This one clocks in at just under 12 minutes, so get your bingo card B's ready. And let's find out how to do equity correctly. At the crossroads. Is that what that said? Hold on, whoa. Did it say at the crossroads? I'll see you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. I'll see you at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. And I'm gonna miss everybody, and I'm gonna miss everybody. Sorry, I apologize. Las Vegas! Oh my gosh, we're in lost wages.
When I told my mother I was gay, she sat me down for a family meeting.
Okay, well, that's one way to open up a talk, I suppose. Going to the bingo card, we already have childhood or family anecdote. Circling that one on the board. Also going to circle free space because, well, it's free. Before I get to that, who's this? Oh, thank you, Adabisi. I won't say anything about your off-center beard. Is it off-center? What? You guys are making me self-conscious. Stop making me self-conscious. I'll shave the whole thing off. I'll fix it. Let's make it go away. Jeez. Jerk. Everybody's a jerk tonight. I was a jerk last night. Now everybody's a jerk today. That's kidding. I'll survive somehow, some way. Anyway, let's go over to the bingo card real quick. Remind ourselves what we're listening for. I think there's at least one other square on there we can be sure that we're going to be circling just because of the title of the thing. Marginalize, marginalization, possibly. Self-vilification or wretchedness. Contradicts own point or fails to make argument. Feminism. Microaggressions or unconscious bias. Privilege. Benevolent condescension. Weightless example or non sequitur. Plays victim. Possibly. Collectivizes own demographic. Possibly. Economic disparity, deceptive statistics, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase, a list, mind reading or assumes motives, patriarchy, Anecdote that probably never happened. DEI philosophy, I think, is probably a gimme, but we'll wait and see. White supremacy, systemic or institutional, leaves out vital context, sales pitch for product or service, and lastly, word salad. But so far on the card, we have free space and childhood or family anecdote. I should also note, I was sent a survey by StreamYard the other day, and there was a big text box that said, what can we do to improve the interface? And I said, it'd be great if I could share more than one tab worth of information on a broadcast. Like, it would be great if I could have the bingo card right at the bottom of the screen, right next to the chat box, so that everybody could follow along as I did that. I don't know if that's possible, but it'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice, Beach Boys? Anyway, so let's see. Oh, Spider-Man is here. Hello, Spider-Man. And beard. Okay, that's how it's going to be now. Huh? Okay, fine. One of my shoulders is lower than the other one. I've always been a little bit crooked. That's the explanation. Live with it.
I prepared for that moment for years because I didn't want to disappoint her.
You didn't want to disappoint her. Okay.
I had recently graduated from college and got my first job a month earlier.
I'm sorry, I have to pause for YouTube, but I'm also trying to get all these things down. It's like, okay, so you sat down with your mom to tell her you were gay. You waited for years to do this because you didn't want to disappoint her. You just graduated from college. You got your first job a month earlier. Okay.
We debated and argued for hours. And in the end, she said that she would not accept me because my church would not accept me.
Okay. That's kind of that's a rough situation, I suppose.
I moved out that night.
Wow.
I soon learned that many of my gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender friends
You had some in every category? Okay.
were also leaving the homes and churches they grew up in. Many of us sought to find a movement that would support and protect us.
Okay.
We wanted to find common ground with the many who knowingly or unknowingly opposed who we are.
I think, well, I mean, if it was religiously based, I think they knowingly did so, I'm guessing.
That common ground was love. Love through marriage equality.
Okay, well, if this is a retroactive or retrospective argument for, marriage freedom or whatever, you're pushing an open door. I mean, if you got two consenting adults, I personally don't care. I don't have to marry you.
We wanted to gain the support of the many straight people who might relate through love. Without marriage equality, same-sex couples were being denied hospital visits, denied guardianship to the children they were already raising together, denied survival benefits for those loved ones.
Yes, not to sound bored or anything, but I lived through the bulk of all of these arguments when it was being debated up to the point where the Supreme Court made it law. I always thought that they should just let the states one by one accede to it as they had. They were on the pattern to do so anyway. Have the Supreme Court step in and sort of just, just make a decision like that. I thought was not the most efficient way. Letting it, pass in each state of its own accord seemed better to me. But whatever. Here we are. Yes. Okay. And
They were planning funerals for.
Yes.
Love through marriage equality drew millions of straight voters to support the passage in Maryland and Washington in 2012 and affected the U.S. Supreme Court decision of 2015, the legalization of same-sex marriage.
I think the show Will and Grace probably had a lot to do with it too. I just have the feeling.
Common ground through love created fairness for all couples.
Sure. Now, gay and lesbian couples can be miserable in marriage too and experience the wonders of divorce.
This is diversity, equity, and inclusion done right.
No, no, nope, 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 nope. That is equal opportunity. That is not DEI. No. No, 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 no. There's a word you've been using that does not appear in the litany. Equality. Not equity. Equality. Equality of opportunity. Everybody has the opportunity to marry the person of their choice and vice versa. That's it. It is not DEI. It is not artificially elevating someone to a position they are not prepared for simply on the basis of what they look like. So already from the jump, either you don't know what you're talking about or you're trying to fool me, but I won't be fooled. At this moment, at least.
Equity is a part of DEI.
Yes, it is. Equity is not equality. Stop.
That creates fairness for all.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. And this, no, no.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Right?
You are fibbing. You are not being genuine here. That is not what it is. That is not what it does. That's what you'd like people to think it means. That's what you'd like people to think it does. That's not what it does. That's not what it means. I'm happy to be corrected. I think I am a little bit more than an armchair reference guide to how DEI works after this much time. And you are not telling the truth. In my opinion.
Black, white, brown, gay, straight, male, female, gender nonconforming.
Wait. Wait. I'm not going to hit the button a second time in like 2 minutes. It's just not going to happen. But boy, oh boy, I got another 10 minutes of this.
Today, there's a movement across corporate America to kill DEI programs.
Yay! Woo, 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 woo. Oh, wait, was that not an applause line?
On the basis that opponents say it prevents the hiring and promoting of the best employees.
Well, it sets aside merit as the first consideration for opportunity. It is, in most cases, inherently illegal under Title VI and or Title VII, depending on the circumstances, or at the very least is unethical when you put race or gender above merit. That's the complaint. Our speaker either lives in a bubble of her own creation and reality, or she is intentionally deceiving her audience. Or both.
Opponents say equity makes companies less profitable.
Show me a profitable company based on DEI. Okay, well now that you've said that, obviously the next logical follow-up is, here is the success story. And hey, if this is finally the talk, if this is finally the presentation where I get what I've been asking for the last 10 years, show me the success story. Show me the company, the organization, the poster child for DEI as advantageous to the bottom line, where you can draw a direct line between the initiation of DEI policies and an increase of the bottom line without any other factors interfering. I'm all ears.
And communities less safe.
Well, I mean, if you are hiring, I don't know, let's say fire officials or police officers or airline pilots on the basis of looks over skill, it could lead to that. Palisades.
Opponents say that proponents of equity preach virtue and values over business outcomes.
Yes. Unless you have an example you'd like to give where DEI won out and became the golden goose all on its lonesome. And do not name a diversity consulting company. That's a move you can't make.
Companies are publicly removing references to equity.
Yes. Why? Why are they doing that? Oh, because Donald Trump said so. Yeah, but when did they start doing that? Oh, that's right. Back in 2022. And definitely after 2023. Right.
Namely DEI.
Yeah.
They're walking back commitments to hiring, promoting, and marketing to Black, brown, or LGBTQ people.
Yeah, why? Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why.
These issues also affect immigrants, neurodiverse, Asian Americans, and indigenous peoples, those who have long been marginalized in business and society.
Well, marginalized or marginalization, circling that one on the board. You know what else? It affects anyone wherein a hiring or promotion decision falls within the restrictions in Title VII, or if you're a federal contractor of some kind, Title VI. You know, and even if neurodivergent might not be technically on the list, it's probably better safe than sorry. But neurodivergent also has nothing to do with your aesthetic quality. It might have something to do with, you know, it might fall under disability. And then, of course, we have the Americans with Disability Act to cover that. But hey, if I need to remind you about Title VII and the list of things you are not allowed to discriminate in favor or against in hiring and promotion, I'm happy to remind you. Would you like to mention that yourself? Would you like to mention why companies are doing this or what they're now fearing may happen if they don't roll back DEI? Anytime.
I say that the movement to kill equity programs can be countered by knowing your enemy.
Hi, I'm Scribelight. I've been advocating against DEI or diversity programs for the last decade. I think people should be hired on the basis of who they are and not what they are. I know, it's a radical idea. It's only been, you know, kind of the thrust of the civil rights movements and civil rights movements of its various kinds since, well, forever, but certainly since 1960s and forward. But hey, you know, maybe I'm in the minority.
Know your opposition, study them, win them over,
Okay.
find common ground.
Okay, I'm all ears. Fine. What common ground do you think we can come to, wherein I'm going to accept the idea that someone should be given an opportunity on the basis of their race? Let's just start there. I mean, that's one of the most prolific expressions of DEI. So tell me why I should value someone for opportunity on the basis of their skin color. Because that is what you're asking me to agree to. I'm ready to hear it.
Knowing your enemy comes from an ancient strategy, one
If you quote Sun Tzu,
that's 2,500 years old, from Sun Tzu's
I did it. I did do it. But of course, now that you've categorized me as your enemy, it doesn't really sound like a kind of common ground theme we've got going on here, does it?
The Art of War, which is a Chinese military treatise.
Sure.
By the way, I'm of Japanese descent, and my ancestors have fought with the Chinese on and off for thousands of years.
So you're going to honor the ancient enemy of your people by quoting him? I guess you found common ground.
But I'm not referring to fighting in Sun Tzu's work.
But you are referring to anybody who disagrees with you as an enemy.
I refer to confronting the opposition strategically with tactics.
Okay. Well, this might be interesting. How will you win me over? Do tell. Also, I just saw. Alan Thyler. Good evening, Alan. Been a little while. And also while I'm scrolling, Maddie is here. Good evening, Maddie. Did I miss anybody else? Jay Blizza, hello. Ostzan, good evening. And I think that's everybody if I don't scroll all the way up. So if I missed you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, hello. And if you are here and you'd like to be said hello to, if I can, make yourself known. Okay.
Study them. Know what your opposition wants. Find what they can relate to. Whether it's love, fairness, or recognition in the voting booths or the workplace.
Recognition in the voting booth or the workplace. So you're trying to bribe me?
Understanding your enemy is not to signal virtue. It's creating the business case and showing business value in organizations.
Show me the ROI on DEI. I've waited 10 years for this. Please.
For example,
You're going to name a company now, yes? Name a company that has specifically profited off of DEI that isn't a DEI consulting firm. By all means. Thank you, Alan Thyler. Oh boy. Hiya, Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie, wow, wow.
Ooh, there's a Weebo Jones Dogcat Fox. And I also have the actual Dogcat Fox right here. How are you, Dogcat Fox?
Wowie, wow, wow.
I know. She's something else, isn't she? Yeah. Okay, go back over there. Go back to your hole. Get in your hole! Whatever. I think that was a Sopranos reference.
I'm an Asian American Pacific Islander.
And that says absolutely nothing about the kind of person you are, if you can believe it.
Who happens to be neurodiverse and has
Checkbox, 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 checkbox. Absolutely nothing. Could apply to a million people, and none of them are you. Who are you?
happens to be neurodiverse and have married to a Vietnam refugee
Okay.
who's a naturalized U.S. citizen.
And every single element you have listed says absolutely nothing about your character. You could take the entire list and apply it to a saint or a sinner. Nothing about what you've said tells me anything about who you are.
I've learned to manage my whole self in the workplace.
Manage your whole self? Like you have control over every cell in your body or something?
For the benefit of my mental and physical well-being.
I guess you're just far more enlightened than the rest of us. Please, dispense with your vast insight.
It's taken me over a decade to learn how to manage my differences for the betterment of my colleagues and the outcomes for the entire organization.
Oh my, wow, you alone, through your management of your whole self, have bettered all of your colleagues and the entire organization. Golly gee whiz. How can I learn this power?
Not just around my causes, rather the benefit for the company.
Very, very selfless of you. Who do you work for?
In doing so, I've learned how to manage and navigate differences to support those who are so fearful about being so different, and how and when to pick my battles.
Okay, I thought we were going to get to an example of a company that has a undeniable benefit in its bottom line and profits on the basis of DEI. What is the business case? You are at one with yourself, and your being at one with yourself improves the lives of everyone around you, like a pebble in a stream. Little ripples affecting everything. All the stones are touched by your power. Great. So what?
I find that companies, if they were to manage equity strategically, they can grow the future of the workforce by supporting eligible residents to become naturalized U.S. citizens.
What? Okay, it's been enough time, and I'm baffled in a different fashion than I was earlier, and so consequently.
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
How does helping eligible individuals become naturalized citizens, what does any of that have to do with anything you've talked about previously? Like, what?
Because most economists believe that cities and states must have a continued flow of immigration to sustain healthy economies.
Oh, yeah? Tell me how New York's doing right about now. How about Chicago? How are they faring right now, financially, on the basis of a steady flow of immigration? Okay, what happened to the business case? Sun Tzu, understand your opponent. I'll be nicer than you. And now we're at companies need to facilitate more immigration of one form or another, I guess, naturalized citizens, in order to prop up the economy. You're halfway through your talk. Would you like to settle on one particular topic and stick to it?
Companies can grow business travel.
They can't. Okay, what companies? In what sphere of business? What are you talking about?
Through proactively fighting and avoiding costly lawsuits, but proactively fighting human trafficking.
What? What? Okay, I am losing it right now. Listening to this talk so far, I feel like I'm experiencing schizophrenia by proxy. Human trafficking. Companies can fight human... How? How? What?
Because sex and labor trafficking disproportionately affects foster children, indigenous, and Latino Hispanic men and women in virtually every major city in the U.S.
Ma'am, this is an Arby's. What exactly are you proposing be done here?
Equity done right is about preventing hate crimes and hate speech against.
It is? How? In what fashion? What? Let me ask you this. Is there anything equity can't do? Jeez.
Against LGBTQ customers and employees.
In what way?
Because if a company does the right thing long-term with a track record, they can create loyalty amongst many types of customers.
And by having a large customer base, this will reduce hate crime? Okay. How?
Equity done right is about addressing climate change.
God, what is this? What is this, like left-wing agenda greatest hits or something? you know what? Equity, it slices, it dices, it julienne's fries. It, carburetes your carburetor and facilitates your facilitator. It does everything, everybody. Take it to the stadium. The Barons of Bash, the Kings of Crash, the Dukes of Dirt. You'll pay for the seat. You'll only need the edge because equity is going up against Gravedigger. What the hell? Adabisi, thank you so much. I love DEI arguments. They just make a claim, then move on to the next list of things they can positively do. Yeah, it's all promises. It's always promises and trust me stories, and I swears, guys, it's just a bill of goods. It's always a bill of goods. It's never anything tangible. It's never, hey, we took this theory and we applied it to this situation, and this was the result, and we have measurements, and we have statistics, and we have provable, empirical data that says that this did this. It's just, I swear that, guys, this time, believe me, for sure, if we do equity, it's going to do all the same things that were promised back in 2016. And I'm not kidding. I mean, she's saying some of the exact same things I was told would be fixed because of DEI or diversity or D&I and everything else. And if you still have to make this abstract, trust me story, promise list 10 years after the fact, if you have no tangible examples to point to. I mean, she says she works for an organization where her philosophy positively affects everybody around her and everything that goes on. Well, then tell me about your company. What does your company do? How does the power of your whole selfness address climate change? I mean, by all means, tell me. I would love to know. But instead... Okay, anyway, going to the bingo card real quick, because if we haven't already hit it, I think we have DEI philosophy, circling that one. Let's see. Self-vilification, no. Contradicts own point, fails to make argument. I think that's inevitable, but I have to watch the whole talk first to be able to tell. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. I think she's effectively already gone over that with talking about the different demographics that she says are the victims and so on, but I'll wait on that. Plays victim. I'd like to hear something more specific from her, like a personal anecdote. And I understand the part where like her mother rejected her. See, that is not an uncommon story, and so I don't necessarily not believe that happened. And it doesn't feel like something that I would say is someone's playing victim. I've known people in real life who have been, effectively disowned by their parents for being into goth music, for crying out loud. The level or the threshold for rejection from certain family members can sometimes be very, very low. So the idea that a religious parent rejected a child coming out as gay, I can believe that. And unless she somehow tries to leverage that anymore into some ridiculous way, I don't feel like plays victim fits for that one. Collectivize his own demographic, yes. Circling that one. In referencing marriage and everything. And, collectivize his own demographic doesn't necessarily have to be a pejorative in some ways. It just has to be an element of the talk. Economic disparity. Yes, in the sense that she made the argument that economists say that cities do better and also that companies make more money with equity. Deceptive statistics. Well, not statistics per se, but her saying that, equity is about equality and so on. Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it. A list. I mean, I don't want to call listing off the elements of LGBTQ, etc., a list in the sense of a device for the talk yet, so I'm going to wait on that. Systemic or institutional. I'm going to wait and see if she actually uses the words. Leaves out vital context. I'm going to wait. Sales pitch for product or service. I want to know who she works for. Or at least, if not the name of the company, because maybe there's some privacy things, but at least the realm in which she operates. I'd be curious to know. Word salad. Yeah. Moving from topic to topic without any specificity. Yeah, word salad. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to stop there for a moment. So far on the bingo card, and I would show you if I could, but I can't. Remember, this is bingo card B. We have marginalized, marginalization, collectivize his own demographic, economic disparity, free space, DEI philosophy, childhood or family anecdote, and word salad, plus 2 WTF circles around the card. That's good.
While growing the profitability of a business.
Show me the money, Lebowski.
Because a company can save millions of dollars a year through a smart mix of operational efficiencies and energy procurement. They can also engage a diverse workforce while doing purposeful work.
Prove it. I give me the success story. Name the company that has saved millions of dollars from DEI. Not okay. What did she just list off again? Let's go back over that again. Did she say DEI?
Efficiencies and energy.
Sorry, let me back up a little bit more.
Addressing climate change while growing the profitability of a business. Because a company can save millions of dollars a year through a smart mix of operational efficiencies.
Okay, operational efficiencies. What does any of that have to do with the demographic split of your workforce or leadership team? Unless you're implying that certain melanin counts or genital, configurations operate better than others just inherently?
And energy procurement.
Energy procurement. What does DEI have to do with energy procurement?
They can also engage a diverse workforce.
What does that mean, engage a diverse workforce? I know what you mean by diverse. How does that equate to millions of dollars in savings?
While doing purposeful work.
Purposeful work? You mean like making money? Which is what most companies do? Or do you mean something else? Do you mean something more virtuous?
If a company does this strategically and
does what? Sophistry. Pablum.
Does this strategically and markets to customers wisely.
In what fashion? In what realm? I don't know how many different times I can say, what are you talking about? Because it just...
With a true investment in workforce and climate action.
I don't know if this is a first, but it's definitely a rarity.
What?
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Right?
This takes the cake. This is like, and I think Adebisi kind of said it as well earlier. This is like the most distilled, purest form of DEI advocacy presentation. It is nothing thus far. I mean, there's a couple minutes left. Nothing but empty, abstract promises and guarantees of bright outcomes without telling us anything of the how or even the why. It's like, I mean, you could have taken, honestly, you could have taken this talk and you could have said it anywhere along the timeline of the last decade, and it would have fit perfectly. This is a timeless DEI argument. It's actually quite the artifact, I would say.
They can grow top-line revenue through these efforts.
They can? Who? When? Show me the money.
Here's another example from the homegrown industry of Las Vegas.
Well, so far you haven't given us any examples, but if you've actually named the city, okay. It better not be a casino.
In the 1990s, casino gaming
God! What? What? Why? Oh, why? Delight. Tell me about DEI in casino gaming in the 90s.
In the 1990s, casino gaming wanted to expand across the southern and midwestern states.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They positioned themselves as growing social economic equity.
Yeah, sounds a bit deceptive, doesn't it? Sounds like a sales pitch.
In towns with bygone industries such as manufacturing and farming.
Yeah, because in towns that have devastated economies by reduced manufacturing, best thing you can introduce is games of chance. But anyway, I digress. Frosted Glass, thank you so much. Babylon, but don't get to your point. Sun Tzu. Exactly. Yeah, this is a distraction. This is a feint, as it were. The real action's coming behind us, like clever girl. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop on this thing. Okay, yes. So the gaming industry wanted to expand outside of Nevada. And so they went to desperate towns seeking some kind of infusion into their economies. Yes.
The problem was that local opponents, who were business leaders, residents, and politicians, didn't want them around.
Why?
They felt that crime, poverty, and traffic would increase.
Okay.
Opponents were vocal as they didn't see this new industry as a means for economic inclusion.
It's not a new industry. Okay.
So companies studied the opposition. They hired world-renowned academics on problem gaming and compulsive behavior to develop new programs on responsible gaming.
Right. Yeah. What does this have to do with placing a value on someone's skin color for job placement? This is classic DEI. We will talk about everything except the core issue of what we're driving at. The expansion of casino gaming is the same as diversity, equity, and inclusion, guys. Just don't think too hard about it.
They created robust procurement programs to better prepare local, family-owned, and diverse businesses to sell to thousands of new customers and new companies every day.
Oh my gosh. Did they care what the person looked like, or was their primary motivation the color of money?
They also assured opponents that they would hire locals from all colors, all backgrounds.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Anybody who needs a job, we'll train you to deal cards. Yeah. Okay. And you know why they would do that? You know why they would say that? Probably because they're legally required not to discriminate. I don't know if you know this, but there have been some laws on the books for a very long time. So them saying, we're an equal opportunity employer, they're kind of required to be. Now tell me, are companies that practice DEI an equal opportunity employer?
And develop them into their leadership ranks.
Yeah.
Casino companies committed to high ethical standards
No offense to anyone who works at a casino, but yeah, high ethical standards. I know.
while reinvesting millions of dollars a year in new schools, roadways, police, and fire stations.
Sure. Do you work for a casino company by any chance? You've never said who you work for.
This is a story of equity done right.
No, it's a story of capitalism. What the casino industry did is effectively no different than any number of other companies and any other number of industries that are preparing to move into a place where they're not currently, and also trying to make themselves a friendly face to a new community that is wary of their presence. Big box stores have done this. There's also a lot of unsavory type of organizations that have done similar things to try to buy goodwill amongst the populace as they move in. It's not unique to gaming companies, and it's got abso-frickin' nothing to do with DEI. This lady is making a stretch that would challenge even, Mr. Fantastic, Stretch Armstrong, Plastic Man. Who else? Miss Marvel. The comic book version, not the MCU version.
Where opponents came together, found mutually beneficial outcomes, common ground, and everyone won.
And for those of you listening at home, she has put a card up. That's apparently another quote from The Art of War. Supreme excellence consists of breaking the opposition's resistance without fighting. Okay, well, you've given us this stunning analogy for working with your opposition to achieve your personal goals. With only a couple of minutes left in your presentation, when do you describe your strategy for bringing me, as representative of the opposition, to your side on DEI?
Coming back to my story.
Which story? Which story?
The common ground that my mom and I found was through love.
Okay, so you're going to just not even bother with describing how you would bring the opposition to your side on the resistance to DEI. You're not going to give us a actually, consequential example of DEI excellence or success when it comes to profit and margins. You're just going to retreat back to your personal story of family unity. Yep, this is a DEI argument.
Love through her grandchildren, my children.
Okay.
It was 20 years of bickering and bantering on religious and moral grounds. But I met her where she was at, which was this relationship that we now have with my wife and now 9 and 11-year-olds.
Yes, blood is thicker than water, as they say. What does that have to do with justifying hiring people on the basis of their skin color? DEI advocates will do everything they possibly can to avoid the core question at the heart of it. How do you justify valuing people on the basis of their skin color, their genitals, or their orientation ahead of merit? And if that is a justified action and philosophy, then tell me what was wrong with the Alabama South of 1955. Because it's the exact same mechanisms of belief and action. They cannot escape it. They can throw as many different, unrelated examples or nonsense or fluffy promises at you, but it always comes back down to that core issue. Never forget, everything they try to say to get around the core issue, come back to the core issue. Don't be distracted. Explain to me how any of this justifies valuing someone's worth on the basis of their skin color.
For helping my parents and their caregiving and their fragile health. I find that opponents and supporters of equity,
Yes.
when I come to the business world,
Yes.
are often talking about one and the same things.
We are? Such as?
We start to find common ground through kids.
Do I have... I used to on here. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me see if I still have this. Because I know it's a delayed thing here, but I used to have something for this. I should already have it loaded up on my soundboard, but it's entirely possible that I just never did so. No. Oh, there we go. Okay. One moment. I apologize. It's a punchline delayed, but a punchline all the same.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
So, you're going to try to leverage my, I don't know, innate humanity, and on the off chance that I was a parent in this situation, you're going to try to pull on the heartstrings of emotional manipulation over children to bring me around to your belief and, being a proponent of skin color as a value factor in job opportunities. I mean, it's quite the flex, but proceed.
Being an athlete, or something interesting like growing up in Hawaii.
Is growing up in Hawaii inherently interesting? Any more interesting than growing up anywhere else? I know. Growing up in Hawaii says absolutely nothing about who you are, except from where you're from, I guess.
Opponents and supporters of equity want one and the same things in life.
That. You know what I want in life? I want race to be an irrelevancy in the evaluation of people's worth. So, can you meet me on that level? And if you do, can you still promote DEI?
It's finding healthy, happy, and fulfilling lives.
You know what doesn't make me happy? Racists.
In that, we want to support businesses led by people we know and trust.
I don't know anybody who support businesses by people we know and trust. I wouldn't be able to shop anywhere around me if that was a requirement.
We want good jobs, safe communities, and a place we call home.
So bring in the casinos.
We want good health care and education for our kids.
Yeah. Let me introduce you to my series, Curriculum of Fear. I want good education for the children of the world and this country. DEI is not providing it.
At the most fundamental level, supporters for and against DEI often differ not in the fight for or against equity. We often differ about how we're going about achieving our life goals.
Again, our speaker either has absolutely no idea what she's talking about, or she's being intentionally deceptive. Or both. I don't think I need to repeat myself by honing in on a core question of what it is that she's advocating for.
Which are similar. The language we use, how we speak about fairness. We often talk past each other and attack the opposition.
I just have two questions for our speaker. I won't talk past her. If she can, answer these questions for me and clarify some things. First and foremost, describe for me a non-diverse candidate for a job. What is a non-diverse candidate for a job? If you had to list the elements that qualify someone as not being diverse, what would that list be made up of? And secondly, is it right to value someone for job opportunities on the basis of their skin color first and foremost? And then I would shut up and listen to what she had to say about those two questions.
For equity done right, whether it's for love, keeping DEI programs in the workforce,
which you haven't justified at all yet with any examples of profitability or... And here's the thing, even if it was profitable to, gerrymander your workforce on the basis of race, it would still be, if not outright illegal, certainly unethical.
or growing an industry, we need to manage the optics around our decisions to create trust with the opposition.
Manage the optics. Another way of thinking about that could be choosing the right camouflage.
Because the equity part of DEI is often different from reality.
Do tell.
Then build unusual coalitions with those we normally don't interact with competitors.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Could you talk in anything other than abstracts?
The movement to reverse equity will take years.
To reverse equity will take years? I agree. It'll probably take a long time. It'll take a lot shorter time if meaningful consequences befall those companies and organizations that have been pushing this stuff. But that can only happen really on a federal level or conceivably a state level if you have attorneys general that are willing to go the distance and hold companies and organizations accountable for rampant civil rights violations and other things over the last decade or so. And it has to be retroactive because, as you said, companies have been rolling back and scrubbing their websites over the last 2-3 years and waiting for statutes of limitations to run out before they can actually be charged with anything or fined, etc. So, yeah, the clock is ticking. And it's going to require a watchful eye. It's going to require meaningful accountability, and it's going to require vigilance. I agree. It's probably going to take years because we have to start all over again with reminding people what happened back in 1964.
Advancing equity will take decades.
Yeah.
A generation or more. Then find out what we have in common with those we tend to hate.
I don't hate you. I hate the ideology you push. I feel as though either you've been duped or you just simply don't care. I'm not a big fan of racists. I'm not a big fan of actual sexists. Ranting monkey being an exception, obviously. But anyway, but that idea of denying someone an opportunity on the basis of their skin color specifically, it was an alien concept to me when I was 6 years old, and it is still an alien concept to me now. And unfortunately, whether you want to admit to it or not, you are an agent of perpetuating that philosophy. You might not want to admit it. You might want to dance around it, bringing up every possible unrelated subject you can think of to avoid having to answer that question. But that is what you are cheering on. So no, I don't hate you. I just wish you'd stop what you're doing and think about what it is you're actually advocating for a second and ask yourself, would I want that kind of thinking to happen to me?
Because we need to talk, truly talk, with those who are knowingly or unknowingly preventing a level playing field.
A level playing field or a leveled playing field? Hey, I am willing to talk to our speaker. I am willing to have a conversation with our speaker. If she's actually wanting to talk to the opposition and find common ground, I'll do a familiar with the matter with her. Sure. I mean, I don't know her. I don't know her to hate her. I don't hate her. I'm just not a fan of what she preaches. That's all. Yeah, no, if she actually wants to have a conversation, okay. I mean, if anybody could be considered part of the quote-unquote opposition and decidedly has a not, covert bias against the DEI fundamentals, that'd be me. So.
Then persuade the persuadable. We can't move everyone. We may then advance equity and inclusion while managing diversity.
What are you willing to compromise on? Because finding common ground usually means you're having to give something up. I mean, the way our speaker is framing this, it's as if obviously I'm wrong and have no good points, and she's going to bring me to her side. That doesn't sound like operating in in good faith on a common ground basis.
We should then see equity as essential to the future of the workforce, essential to the future of communities.
No, equity is destructive to the workforce and destructive to communities. When you start trying to engineer equality of outcome, you're going to have weakness, because you're going to elevate people to positions of authority that do not have the skills or the temperament to do them correctly and professionally. And it doesn't matter what the color of their skin is. If you're looking at filling out some kind of aesthetic preference first and foremost, before getting people who are either experienced in whatever it is, skilled, has the right education, and so on and so forth, you're going to end up with a lower quality outcome. That's just the way it is.
Equity done right is for the future of planetary survival.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you.
Back to climate change. Yeah, we're going to save the world. Equity will save the world, everybody. Don't you see? I've got no examples of how it has saved anybody or anything yet, but I mean, I promise it will. All right, well, that was a full and energetic presentation for the sake of this show. All right, so here's the bingo card as I have it right now. I'm going to go over it one more time by myself. If you guys have arguments for squares to be circled, hold on to them. I'll get to you momentarily. Let's go. Self-vilification or wretchedness? For as many times as she was self-referential, I don't believe she ever categorized herself as being, part of the problem or something in any way. So, contradicts own point or fails to make argument? Boy, howdy. That seems to be a common theme amongst many TEDx talks, but certainly this one. Feminism. Okay, this is going to be feminism and patriarchy are going to be a tough one, because while she did refer to LGBTQ plus etc., she never really leaned into either power dynamics or any particular rallying cries around either feminism or a complaint about male dominance in some way. So I don't think either of those apply. I'm open to suggestions otherwise. Microaggressions or unconscious bias. She never used the terms, but the resistance by her mother and the examples that she gave, or at least intimated, of others who had experienced being rejected by their families in some way, shape, or form, obviously that applies. Privilege. As far as I know, she never used the term. I'm sure there's something that can be extrapolated in there, but I'll leave that to you guys. Benevolent condescension. Yes, in the, as I think I just said, the whole common ground thing. It's not common ground if you're not willing to either acknowledge any points the other side might have or concerns, or just make it pillow talk of common ground when you're not willing to give up anything on your side. It's just going to be a lecture at that point. That's not seeking a conversation. That's just trying to make edicts. But anyway, benevolent condescension. And with that, if you can...
Bingo!
What? Bingo! Yeah!
Of course! Of course!
Weightless example, non sequitur, anything dealing with climate change. Where did that come from? What did that have to do with anything? Or in naturalized citizens, the company should facilitate and so on. Yeah. Okay, and again, I'll come back to this one, plays victim. I'm hesitant to circle that one on the basis of her mother rejected her because of her orientation. That doesn't feel like fake or inherently manipulative to me. That I could see that as just autobiographical. Okay, so if anybody's going to make an argument for plays victim, I'm going to need something other than that. Deceptive statistics. Did she give us any statistics? I mean, she made a lot of sort of guesses. Well, just saying that companies, benefit from DEI or profit off of it. I needed something a bit more specific. And I can't recall if she actually gave us any actual statistics and not just bills of, a bill of sale kind of thing or a bill of goods. So I'm gonna need an example. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. Equity done right. She kept hammering that one home. It's not necessarily the most original or, poetic buzzword or buzz phrase, but it was something she kept using over and over again and trying to push in there. A list. For myself, I'm going to accept the the number of steps and strategies undertaken by the casino and gaming industry to insinuate their ways into communities and so on. She gave a list of actions that they took that she was then, extending as to what DEI advocates should take to bring the opposition onto their side. So as a list of strategic steps, I'm going to take that one. Mind reading or assumes motives. Well, she made a lot of assumptions about the mindset of the opposition to equity, which I'm happy to oppose as far as her interpretation. So she claimed to know what I wanted and how I think. So there you go. Patriarchy. Again, I didn't hear anything specifically about gender dynamics, regardless of how many times she brought up, non-binary and so on. So I don't think that one applies. Anecdote that probably never happened. I don't have any reason to disbelieve her, the rift between her and her mother. Nothing about that sounded, too good to be true for the sake of her argument. The story about what the gaming industry did to try to insinuate themselves into opposing communities without naming a specific company or something or a specific example, I can believe it. I believe that I even saw a documentary on the expansion of the gaming industry. So that sounds legit. That DEI improves the bottom line. Or that equity improves the bottom line. That equity is going to improve climate change. It doesn't, nah. I don't buy it. White supremacy. She never brought up white people explicitly, but in the reverse of naming off all of the demographics who are obviously victims and oppressed and so on, she was effectively making that part of her argument. And so that being
Bingo.
What?
Of course!
Systemic institutional. If I'm being generous, and I can be here, the institution of marriage. She was talking about religious institutions and their opposition to gay strategies to bring people on your side, etc. Yeah, it's fair enough. Leaves out vital context. Boy, did she ever. Like, how many times did I ask for, how do you do this? Or why does this happen? Or can you give us some more information? Or can you give us an example? And on and on. And
I had a dog, and his name was...
What?
I had a dog, and his name was...
Bingo!
Of course!
Sales pitch for product or service. Now, I was hoping after she mentioned her sort of golden child effect on the company that she works for, that she would tell us who she works for or what industry that she's in. But in this case, I got to circle it for the gaming industry. Boy, oh boy, did she play up the wondrous problem-solving virtues of casinos. I don't know what else to say other than that was some example she used to promote gambling. So.
Oh, won't somebody please?
Bingo. B-I-N-G-O.
Okay!
Right?
So there you go. Those are the bingos. That's my card as I have it. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now. If I miss your argument, please just repost it. I'll scroll up a little bit. But after that, I won't. Also, Angela Arriaga. Good evening. Did I miss anybody else while I'm looking? The internet's favorite lunatic. I'd say that she was low-key admitting to being a horrible racist piece of shit to the sound of applause at the end. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt that obviously in their own minds, they think that they're promoting something positive. Something good, something, curative to what ails us as a society. But that's why I honestly want to ask, and I have been, I behind the scenes, I have approached a few people who are DEI advocates or consultants before to see if maybe I could get an interview. It's never happened. I did talk to someone once offline. I thought I could bring them on an interview thing, but he was willing to talk to me offline first because I'd made a comment on a video. I won't say who it is. It doesn't really matter anyway. But there was a video of someone promoting diversity programs in hiring and everything, and I left a relatively sizable comment on the video, asking, well, how is it that someone's skin color or something is going to be an inherent benefit to a work process or something, and this led to a very polite back and forth on the comment section of his video until finally I looked him up and I contacted him, I think through Twitter or something, and we had a sort of a video call together, and he was genuinely curious as to where I was coming from on my position, because it sounded like he had just been recently introduced to the idea of diversity programs and such, and so as a consultant he was still finding his feet, I guess. And this was several years ago now, and it was an interesting conversation, but ultimately he wasn't interested in having like a broadcast back and forth or anything. And because I would love to really and genuinely ask people who promote this stuff, how do you get away from the idea that at its core DEI demands a demographic consideration first and foremost in job opportunities and job promotions? I mean, isn't that inherently antithetical not only to the law as established, but even if you can get past the law in some way, shape, or form, isn't that just antithetical to the idea of equal opportunity and fairness and what purportedly we're striving as a country to better ourselves through, treating each other fairly? Anyway, I could go on. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Abdicast Diabli, Scribble assumes motives, mind reading. I already covered that one, but yeah, we need to manage the optics to make the opponents of DEI come around. She's assuming the opponents are not smart enough to see through that and will agree. That's also true. Like I said, it's like picking the right camouflage to obscure our true motives. It's just Luna Mune. I'm going to have to watch the rest later on. Dozing off. Been up since 3 a.m. I can empathize. I've been up since 2 a.m. because I woke up early. Ada BC. She said she moved out that night. She didn't say her mother asked her to move out. I feel she chose to do it rather than the other way around. This might be her playing the victim. I mean, the space for doubt is in the way that you phrased it. It might be her playing the victim. You feel that she shows. We need some more details. Like, did her mom kick her out? That was the implication to me, is that things became so contentious that her mother effectively disowned her, and it wasn't until years later that they reconciled. I see where you're going with it. If she had brought it up again in some way that felt manipulative rather than simply autobiographical, maybe. But again, I don't. Yeah, we need more information. I need more context to say whether or not that was a plays victim moment or something else. Abdicatus plays victim. Story with her mom was playing victim. Okay, I will entertain it. It wasn't just a story she told. It wasn't just a story. She told it in a manipulative way to influence the listener by reinforcing her trauma. Real ones can still play it. See, okay, and I know I'm picky about these things, and I'm wary of taking someone's story that doesn't sound untoward and saying that she was like making it up or something. She was using her own personal experience to illustrate the experience of being marginalized, being set aside, not being given an equal shot. Because then she was following that up with marriage equality and at least the idea of equality of opportunity for getting married, even though she then immediately twisted it into being equity, which is not the same thing. But her personal example served as as far as I'm concerned, a relevant segue into her next point. Whether it was a good point or not is beside the point. And I didn't find it manipulative. I found it a useful delivery mechanism for where she was going in that part of the talk. So, I mean, but here's the thing. Anything anybody says in a persuasive essay is manipulative. Simply being manipulative does not necessarily plays victim make. So you're going to have to overcome that. That's all I'll say. Deceptive statistics. When speaking of gay marriage, she only listed the places referendums passed and not those that failed, like California, giving a false sense of consensus that there was no percentage against. But then she did move on to say the Supreme Court made the decision. So whatever opposition there was at that point effectively irrelevant anyway. So I don't think that was just, I mean, you know, it was Washington and then Maryland and then the Supreme Court. And I think there was a couple other places that had been made, maybe not as hard and fast laws, but something similar. To me, that was just reiterating historical fact. I don't think that was like deceptive statistics. I'm not even sure that she said that everybody in the country was on board with it or something. I could be mistaken, but I don't think so. Sales pitch. She works for Caesars Casino as the VP of Social Impact and Inclusion and Chief Sustainability Officer for Caesar Entertainment Corporation, according to her. Okay, see, this is why I don't do research of the speakers, at least not until after I've already maybe circled a few. That makes perfect sense now. And the fact that I circled sales pitch for the casino industry, that works. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, so she had a job specifically about this. Yeah, it's great. Okay, assumes motives, mind reading. Already circled that one, so we'll move on. Adabisi, privilege. She mentioned the businesses should grant access to the poor countries over poor citizens that don't have, I'm guessing, opportunities or something. Okay. Okay, so she was saying the businesses have the power, and by extension then the privilege of bettering the planet and human traffic. Okay. So she was encouraging businesses and business leaders to use their privilege. Okay. Yeah, you know that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And of course, and then she went on to talk about how the gaming industry was the knight in shining armor in doing similar things for society and helping the downtrodden and so on and so forth. Okay. Fair enough.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
All right, so we got another bingo. Oh my gosh. Gonna have to start wrapping it up soon, guys. No offense. It's getting late. I got a busy day tomorrow, and then just as a programming note, I'll be probably not as vocal on Saturday because I'll be off visiting Mama Scribe for her birthday. So there you go. An actual victim can still play a victim. Yes, I understand that, but she, again, I didn't feel, and nothing that she said sounded like she was leaning on that sob story falsely. You know, it was the whole we can come together around love like my mom and I did. It's not a great argument, but I didn't feel like it was a sob story. She was searching for a way to make her argument without, you know, giving us a specific example. So all she went back to is her mother, you know, reconciling with her, or she reconciling with her mother over the grandchildren, or whatever it was. It didn't rise to the level of playing a victim. Simply using a life experience in a talk to try to persuade someone towards your end of the argument does not necessarily mean that they're playing a victim or that it's inherently false. It's obviously manipulative. That doesn't mean it's deceptive in some way. You know, I know you might think I'm splitting hairs here, but Captain JPS, it sounded like the mom was warning her that the church isn't going to approve of it, and she took it as her mom disowning her. Yeah. Again, without more details from her, it sounded as though her mother effectively disowned her. And without any more information about what caused her to leave that night, whether it was self-imposed or her mother kicked her out, it was kind of unclear. I get it. I get where you guys are coming from, but this is a double bingo square, and nothing that she said felt like playing the victim. That's all I say. Self-righteousness, the crack about her people having been at war with China, and, quote, yet here I am using Sun Tzu quotes. I don't know if is that self-wretchedness? Did she say that? I don't know. I mean, that might be ironic. I don't know if that's necessarily self-vilification or wretchedness. She would have had to have categorized herself as being part of the problem in some way, shape, or form. Like if she had confessed to having had similar feelings about, you know, straight people or something at one time or another, like straight people had against gay people, then that would count. I'm not trying to be too picky here. I am just arguing it to argue this. I know. And you take your shot, shoot your shot, see what you get. 5 boxes left. She really wanted to grab it all. I know. Happy birthday, Mama Scribe. Yes, Mama Scribe. She's going to be, oh geez, how old is that now? Hold on. I will do some math here because I can't remember now. Let's see. 78. Mama Scribe. All right. The card doesn't say deceptively plays victim, just says playing the victim. I think the arguments might be sound because of that. Playing the victim when you're not really a victim, right? A false claim of victimhood. That's it. That's the deceptive part. It's like playing possum, right? You're pretending or overemphasizing your victimhood. I didn't hear anything that overemphasized her victimhood on the basis of her experience with her mother. Not to some degree that felt like, overmuch or something, or hyperbolic. I know, I'm being picky, but that's just the way. Simon Olkins, I'm listening to a Guerrero Valley remix. Okay, well. And lastly, Scribelet, and a someone whom identity is all. That includes all those things that come with it. Oh, sorry. Well, she confessed to using quotes from her ancestors' enemies. Well, yeah, but that plays into, thematically, to understanding your enemy. Right? So, I mean, if she's, reading the quotes of Sun Tzu, the ancient enemy of her people, that's her sort of, kind of practicing what she preaches in a generational way. I don't know. Your mom is about 5 years older than mine. Yes, my mother is aged like a fine wine. And a little goofy, as the case may be. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call that there. I understand there's some contention. There always is, and I appreciate it. You guys, I've told you before, my favorite part of these shows is the discussion after the fact with the bingo card and your guys' passionate arguments for even squares that don't really matter towards a bingo, but certainly those that do, and I appreciate it. Now, if you'd still like to try to convince me elsewise, I do take arguments after the fact, especially if you're watching in the future. So if you have an argument for a square yet to be circled, or you want to try to enhance or bolster someone else's argument for a square I did not circle, you can always leave a comment in the comments below, or, at least for as long as it's still relevant, you can also post over on the Discord server. Do you know I have a Discord server? Well, at least until Discord makes itself effectively defunct with its rules come March, I have a Discord server. Link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. Click on that link. You find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you're not a bot. You actually watch the stream and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is love. Just say hello, love. I won't take it personally, and I'll know that you watched this show. Programming note. There probably won't be any streams this weekend, as I will be busy celebrating birthday with Mama Scribe, along with Sister Scribe, as we go visit Mama Scribe. But, of course, Monday at 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern, in the PM side, will be the next episode of DEI Death Watch. We'll take a look at another litany of stories about the downfall and the doubling down of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And but you never know. Sunday night I could get the gumption to do an ambush stream or something. You'll just have to watch. So, let me get this right here. Follow me on the Twitter machine. Yes, there you go, or the X machine. And if I do something like that, and I admit I didn't do it last night because I was just on the spur of the moment, but usually I do advertise surprise streams out on the Twitter machines as well on the Discords when the time comes. Outside of that, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. I appreciate your generosity, your interactivity, and your passion, and your attention. Hope everybody has a good rest of your... Oh, sorry. I'll get my own spiel down one day. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the link at the top of the chat box to Blood Cancer United, guys, thank you so much for your generosity. Very much appreciate it. Everyone, have a good rest of your Thursday. Have a good Friday ahead of you. Hope you have a good weekend. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. And I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.